The beginning of the plants might affect your plants very effectively. There are some cases when your plants get affected very harshly. So we need to care them very much. The beginning of the summers are also a knocking to the lazy gardeners or the plant parent beginners to care your plants very effectively and in a much better way. So in this video, we will going to talk about the few care tips regarding how I care my plants so that I can maintain my plants in a well manner and in a better growth. So let's get started and know how I care my plants. I am a bit a lazy plant parent in terms of watering them regularly or maintain the daily schedule of watering them. So here are some tricks which I used to apply in all my plants so that it can be maintained in a proper way and extend my time period of watering schedule. If you will say that to arrange an irrigation system or a sprinkler system on your garden or your balcony, then it will be a difficult task for me, as because the most of my plants are the indoor plants and are kept inside my house. So it's a difficult to set up an irrigation system so that the timely gets watered the plants. So here there are some tricks which I used to apply all my plants so that they get fresh and grow in a proper way. The first and the foremost thing we should apply on all the plants is the base of the media in which we will pot our plant, so that it must be a water retaining, moisture retaining, so that the long term period water can be maintained and in a proper way. So I used to prepare a potting media which has the property of water retaining capacity for a very long period of time, which will reduce my schedule of daily watering and relieve me. Using a regular garden soil in a potting mix is not a good idea for a well retaining moisture. We need to have some elements which help the plants or which help the soil to retain the water very much. So here are the components which I used in my potting media so that it be a well moisture retaining. Coco peat, garden soil, perlite, cocoa chips, compost. Perlite or cocoa chips can be the optional part of your potting media. At the same time, I have to also analyze my soil condition. It must be a well draining, well porous and nutrition value content. So all the properties which contain in my soil, I used to pot them in general potting mist as most of my plants. After potting them, I used to pour water thoroughly so that we find that bottom water comes out. This will help my plants to seep down through the bottom and get fully contained water. Here is the comparison between the regular garden soil and the coco peat mixture. You can see the difference between the more darker color and the more moisture retaining capacity is in the coco peat mixture. After potting them in a proper soil condition, there is one more advantage which helps me to retain moisture for a very long term. The temperature. Yes, the temperature plays a great role in moisture retaining capacity and evaporate water less. As most of my plants are the indoor plants, so it helps to retain moisture for a very long term because of the less temperature as compared to the outside. So it's extend my period of regular schedule of watering. Now for the watering, the second condition which I used to apply on my weekly schedule of watering them is that I used to gather most of my plants in a wash area where I used to give them a proper bath shower so that all the plants get properly showered well and get water through the bottom. Water reaches to the bottom which takes half an hour time and drained off the excess water, which help the plants to not to get as an overwatering situation or rot their leaves. This weekly schedule is done on the basis after analyzing the soil condition properly. When I find that the soil condition is a dry condition or they has been completely dried out, then only I used to water them. If there is any kind of moisture or there is water retained, then I don't water them. I used to analyze the soil condition by taking an inch or a half inch deep our finger and analyze the soil condition whether it's dry or not. If it sticks to the finger, then no need of watering, and if doesn't, then it needs a thorough watering. The shower also helped my plants to clean up their leaves, stems and other parts very effectively. So they also get a nice cleaning up on the weekly schedule. After half an hour of time back, I used to keep them in their original space. But there are certain situations when I can't able to water them or shower them. So in that case, I used to take a bucket of water and water them by hopping from one plant to another. I also ensure that the plant must be in pot to pot condition, or either the saucer will be underneath in the condition. Then only I water them. Otherwise the water might get split down and can create a mess floor. So this how I used to water them on my weekly basis. And the situation where I can't able to shower them, then I used to wipe the leaves with a damp cloth or mist them properly. Summers create a very dry environment to our plants, so we need to check them and accordingly act them. So in that case, you can invest in a humidifier or you can mist your plants regular basis. I used to mist my plants once in a day or once in 2 days. This helped my plants to grow in a proper way and create a humid environment around them. These plants which I used to mist them, especially the noded plants, gets very benefit by misting because the node area gets stronger and stronger by producing new aerial roots, and hence the plants grows very properly and abruptly. The misting schedule of mine is either on the early morning or in the evening. I don't or avoid misting them during the afternoon time because as my experience, I have analyzed that by misting them to the afternoon time can harm your plants very much, because there is a reason behind is that during the afternoon the temperatures are at the peak and the atmosphere around the plants are very dry and very hot. So when you will mist your plant, the suddenly an environment change will happen and abruptly the temperature will fall. So in that case your plants get harmed, or you can have the burning portion or a yellowing or the browning of the tips. So I used to prefer them early morning or the evening shower. So these are the conditions which I used to apply on my plants so that I don't have to use to water them regularly or in a daily basis. So it's a very beneficial trick so that you can apply and can have a weekly schedule of watering them, all of the plants. The second care tip is not actually a care tip but a selection of plants. We need to select our plants according to our area, our location and our climate. If we are frequent travelers, then we don't have to select very delicate plants because it can be harmed or it needs a frequent care. So instead of that, we can select Haworthia, snake plants, ZZ plants such as of this hardy plants, which help the plant parent to care them if they are traveling outside. The hardy plants doesn't require much care or much water. So these plants also a benefit of reducing a daily watering schedule. The snake plants in the summers also, we need to water them once in a week or once in a 10 days. So they doesn't require too much of watering. There are some plants which will down if you don't water them properly. There are some plants such as of Calathea, wandering jew, philodendron and many other. If they are not in a proper condition, then they will wilt down and require water. Potting them in a mixture of a well porous, well draining and moisture will reduce your stress and will help to extend the time period of watering them. So these are some general tricks which we should apply on our indoor plants so that it will thrive well and grow properly. If you like such videos, give the thumbs up and subscribe to our channel if you are new. If you like more such videos, then do comment us below, and you can also comment us about any specific topic which we want to talk about.